Moffat!
A Doctor Who review of Series 7, Part 2, Finale, The Name of the Doctor.
And we're back. And,
Yes.
you know...
Spoiler, you never actually learned the name of the Doctor, but we called that.
Yeah, we called that.
Episodes ago.
And I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah, me too.
But it's also like, if you're going to call the episode, whatever.
Whatever, we got to see River Song used as a plot device, not an actual character. Yay!
There's a lot of... I would like to describe how we watched this episode. It was just sort of like looking at each other like, really?
And then my lovely friend Becca joined us, and she got to interject with her commentary about how terribly Jenna Louise Coleman's character was written. Always fun.
But let's start from the beginning, because
Yes,
there's only
sweet.
so much suck you can cram into one episode, although
Yes.
this episode really tests it. So we start off on Gallifrey a long time ago. And
Yeah, I forgot that was the beginning of the episode.
so this is, okay, I understand why they did this,
Me
but
too.
like, they're like these technicians, and they're like, oh look, someone's like stealing a TARDIS.
Great accent. Great
And I'm like, okay, let's stop right there for a moment. The Time Lords never called them TARDISes or whatever.
Tardisi. Whatever.
Susan named it the TARDIS
Awkward
because she
plot hole.
came up with the acronym for time and relative dimension in space. Now I understand.
Again, that's nitpicking. I mean,
I
know,
get it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're like, oh look, he's stealing a time machine, you know, like.
And then people will be like, oh, but it's the TARDIS. And
I completely apologize
I mean,
for my horrible accent.
Oh, no, it's
Continue.
fine. I mean, like, I haven't really watched as much Classic Who as I should have, so I remembered it as soon as you said it right. Susan came
Yeah.
up with that. But it's not something the regular viewer can do, so I can see why they did it. It's just nitpicking, but at this point, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg
This
here.
is just the cherry on the shit sundae. Which, now there was a cool thing at the beginning with all these old clips of the Doctor with
Jenna Louise or Clara put into them. Those were really cool. I enjoyed those, even though, I mean, we won't talk about the plot device that went along with it, not yet. But
the thing for me, that was great was that a lot of them, some of them look like kind of awkward. Like the second Doctor running through a field, looked like okay, that's clearly photoshopped. Like, but then like some of them like worked a little better than others.
some of them really did work.
There was the
pretty well.
fantastic one from the awful Seventh Doctor episode Dragonfire, where he's like hanging on the ice thing.
Yeah, and she was banging on that window.
Which is one of the most infamous things in Doctor Who, where he literally like climbs down and hangs off for no particular reason. He just does because they needed a cliffhanger, and he's literally hanging on a cliff. Do you get it?
Better cliffhanger than what Stephen Moffat did. I mean,
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
but
later.
I just thought it was funny that she was going to save him from doing something really dumb.
wow. Okay, so yeah.
And also, I'm not.
What?
They didn't have Paul McGann. Okay, I'm really
Nor did
angry.
they have Eccleston, nor did they have Tennant.
I'm sure that has something to do with the end of the episode, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So
I can't stop laughing about it. I'm sorry.
So it's like she's like. But in the beginning, Jenna Louise Coleman's like, my job is to save the Doctor.
I was born to save the Doctor.
You did a shitty job!
Thank you, Becca. Oh, wow, because, I mean, that's all that these characters... It's just, Stephen Moffat has a habit of doing this. And it's just, I immediately thought of Sherlock and A Scandal in Belgravia, where he pulled the same BS, where it's like, oh, look, we're going to have Irene save Sherlock, but in the end, Sherlock saves her. But it's all good because he's just repaying her. No, it's really not okay.
It's like
really not.
It's like on like the very bare surface of it. It's like, this is a strong female character.
It was really hard for me just to kind of look at it and be like, wow, I really love Irene, such a great character. This is the same thing. I really love. Well, actually, I don't care about Clara. I'm sorry. I mean, that's the problem with this episode. Clara was born to save the Doctor, and she was supposed to have like motivation to save him, but we don't know anything about her character. Like this wonderful post on Tumblr that I saw the other day saying you only need 2 things to be a strong female character: make your own choices and have just motivation. And just it's really that hard. She doesn't have these. She's making her own choice to save the Doctor, but is it really a choice? I mean, it's the whole thing with time travel. It's like there's always these things like they've already happened, so it has to be done, and that's a trope you see a lot, and that's okay. But the fact is that her character's not been developed at all, and I don't see why she had any reason to do what she did. Besides to close up Moffat's podcast.
The thing for me is that this is actually very comparable to the end of Series 1 of the new Doctor Who, where
yes, definitely.
Rose is literally like, I'm Bad Wolf, I'm gonna change everything. But she doesn't have to
she was the Bad Wolf. She was not my impossible girl. The Doctor's impossible. She was her own character.
She's like, I'm gonna save the day.
She made that choice. She messed up time. The time wasn't already messed up and she had to fix it. It wasn't like she scattered Bad Wolf because it was... It's comparable, and I definitely could see how you could argue there's some issues with Rose's character, but in comparison to what this was...
So, going through the episode, so we start off with, like, all this stuff with Jenny and...
Oh, because it's Jenny Bastian's tracks again. Woo!
I mean, I love them. It's really
too.
great, although they're all getting high to go into Dreamland.
That was kind of funny.
That was
a
great.
really cool premise.
I really like that idea of, like, oh, like, time travel, you can always time travel in your dreams, because, like, sometimes people have, like,
I really like
premonitions of
that. Like,
things.
that was one of the good things about this episode. Good job.
But then, it's like, she's making souffle. Do you get it? Souffle girl, do you get it? You see what they did there?
I'm so amused right now.
She said it like 5 times in case you didn't get it.
She said souffle girl more times than they said Doctor Who this episode. That's
Did you have a souffle girl count?
I didn't. I should have. I had a Doctor Who count. It was only 3, and it was sad. I was like, really, Moffat? I was expecting more. But I mean, he made it up with the souffle girls. It was at least 5 times. At least it was more than that, actually.
Okay, so River Song appears in this dream world, and there's like a little like, oh look, we're so like jealous over the Doctor, you know, and I'm like, okay,
it was like the tension they kind of did with Sarah Jane and Rose, except not well done.
But that was more like he were making fun of him.
Yeah, this was just more like awkward. The Doctor's not bringing me up, but it's okay because it hurts him too much.
It hurts. Okay, we'll get to that. It's really hard to not skip to the last like awful 10 minutes of this episode.
God, that was just it puts this dark cloud over the entire episode.
I'm just like who cares about his name?
Nobody.
Like it's
I was like, why am I supposed to care about this? Am I supposed to be sad about this? Am I supposed to be scared by this? That was me this entire episode. And I know I've been kind of disillusioned with Doctor Who this series, as we'll talk about later. But really, what was the plot? The plot was, okay, let's try to put into this plot. They find at the beginning of the episode, Jenny and Brasher and all them, that, okay, we're going to try, something's wrong. Name of the Doctor. Let's go do that. Dreamworld thing happens. It's like, okay, Clara's with the Doctor, and all of a sudden, they're in a tomb. And all of a sudden, they're not in the tomb anymore, but they're going to go in the main part of the tomb thing. And I don't. And then there was timeline things and paradoxes and plot holes, and I was not compelled. Were you?
No, not at all. It was...
Oh my gosh.
I mean...
That was a thing.
I was really angry for a hot second because I thought they killed Jenny.
I was too.
I was really angry about that.
So, I mean, but the thing is, with Moffat, they're going to bring him back. Rory.
Yeah. So it's like, look, I'm just glad that she's not dead because I was going to have to, murder someone.
Yeah.
Because that's not okay. And I say that, completely
Ooh, can we talk about what's not okay? How the Doctor called the children the little Daleks.
You guys are like, and I get it. It's supposed to be like
it's
little
supposed
creatures
to be funny,
or whatever.
But it just kind of epitomizes how I felt about the season. It's been nothing huge. Well, I mean it has, but overall it's been a series of little just things that just aren't right, and they're like, ooh, that was supposed to be funny and clever, but it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Because the Daleks are something that the Doctor,
hates,
and they're literally hate monsters.
It's like, do you get it? I'm not, if you, think about this for more than 3 seconds, it's a piece of shit.
He murdered, he genocide all the Daleks, and he's calling them, it's just a little thing that just...
Also, little thing, those kids are still at the cinema.
It was we spent just an entire episode getting the kids back and worrying about the kids, but for the sake of this episode, we're gonna ban it all.
They're at the cinema.
I mean, it's not an uncommon thing to do in any show, I guess, including Doctor Who. But it's just on top of everything else. It's like when they said in Vincent and the Doctor, your life is a pile of good things and bad things. This episode was a pile of good things and bad things.
Was it? Was it though? It was more like a pile of okay, let's picture this. This episode was basically a shit sundae with maybe 2 cherries on the top.
A few sprinkles that were oh look, that was nice. Oh,
but it just gets encompassed by all the shit. That's all it is. It's just a piece of crap, and no matter how much window dressing you put on it, it's awful. It's ooh, let me buy this car from a junkyard. We painted it to look really, really nice. It looks really, really nice. But when you actually try to drive it, it blows up. Fuck you.
Fire. It's the ball of fire. Oh God. I just think of my poor brother Jacob, who I'm sure will comment with many angry things about this episode. He was like, but Abby, they're gonna prep up some plot holes. Moffat's gonna end a plot. Oh.
I mean, like, he did.
He did with Clara. That is the only brownie points we're gonna give to him.
We'll get, like, it's literally... Okay, so
there's
there's an awesome bit where Matt Smith is a great actor, where she's like, something about River Song, and he's like, oh my god, I'm crying. I'm like, Matt Smith, I love you. Why are you in a shitty season?
I don't really know why he was crying in retrospect.
But Matt Smith did a good job of crying.
I was like, Matt Smith, you look
little
so
victories.
sad. Little victories. That's the thing. You have to look for the little things. You really do.
Also... Okay, so let's talk about Richard E. Grant, a.k.a. the guy who was, like, the villain.
That is what bothered me. Remember when we first talked about this? We were like, what is the motive of the great intelligence? What is their point? Like, this is obviously going to go somewhere.
I'm really angry. I don't like the Doctor.
They don't have motivation. It's like, if you're going to use that as your villain, give me something. I mean, I was all for it once the season began. I was like, great, you're setting this up. Let's get some more development.
It really makes no sense. And I'm like, was it like the Auton thing, the Great Intelligence 2?
The Great Intelligence was behind that whole thing.
Okay, so I don't know what that's all about. But
that's the thing. I mean, we're casual viewers. Well, I mean, we're more than casual
viewers.
A little more than casual viewers. But to a casual viewer, like, I guess maybe they won't think about. No.
It's just, for me, I just don't get, like, okay, so Richard E. Grant, for one, is being a real over the top. Just like,
and we have the lightning flashing over the TARDIS gravestone.
It's like, do you
hilarious.
get it?
It was like Scooby-Doo.
I was really waiting, and this is like a really obscure reference. There was a charity special they did back in like the late 90s or early 2000s that Stephen Moffat actually did, right? That featured Rowan Atkinson as the Doctor. Which was, it was really funny, and it was actually really good, but there was a part where Richard E. Grant, like, became the Doctor for 5 minutes, and I was like, it would be really funny if he tried to make that, like, in continuity, and I would have laughed so hard. Now, it wasn't going to be that, but I just thought it'd be really funny.
Yeah,
but anyway, I think I didn't write stuff for a really long time.
I kind of wrote things down as I went to kind of remember where the heck this episode was going, because I literally had no idea what they were doing at any point in time. They were doing some tomb raiding for a while, and I was like, tie River into your convoluted plot, yay!
Okay.
Put one of those Japanese emoticons with the stars.
So there's the part where they remind the audience, oh yeah, like I was put in a library. I'm like, this is like an echo of that, which means this takes place after that.
Because, I mean...
But she's the echo, so we could technically still read River Song again, but she doesn't remember all this.
That's the thing that Moffat did. It's like, he likes setting things up and putting defined endpoints, but then messing with how you get to those endpoints. And it's like, this is the whole thing with the Doctor. It was like, we have his grave now. We know he dies. We're doing this. And so it's like, oh, so now everything's going to be waiting.
This is the problem with doing... when you explain a lot of stuff and, like, add all this stuff, is that, like, it's, like, I guess, like, kind of cool, like, when it happens, but then, like, afterwards, like, you have to keep thinking about it. You have to keep thinking, like, about, like, oh, like, this is here now. This was, like, always the problem. And, like, I loved, like, a lot of the stuff that Russell T Davies did with Doctor Who, but one of the things was, like, he kept making it progressively more and more, like, everyone on Earth knows about aliens, which is great, but after a while, it becomes, like, way less relatable to the actual, like, world population who are, like, actually, like, watching the show. But there's a part where River shows up and she's like, yeah, like he just put me on the shelf like I was a book.
Oh wow, Moffat, just don't come.
It's like women are just to be put on the shelf. That's pretty much what I got from that.
Yeah, woman. It's like the whole point is like she's kind of there, but he can't see her. But he can see her. So we can make out.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. It's really bad.
It's really bad, but oh gosh.
Okay, so then there was another reference from Richard E. Grant. He's like, the Doctor could become all these things, and the Valeyard. Okay, nerd. The Valeyard is a reference to a Sixth Doctor serial called Trial of the Time Lord, where this guy put the Doctor on trial on Gallifrey for being like a dumbass.
That's cool.
But like then they realized that he was actually something that occurred between the Doctor's 12th and final at the time, because then they So he's supposed to be like this like evil thing that comes between the Doctor's like 12th and final regeneration.
So do you think that's what?
That's like, I'm sure people will say like, oh, Richard E. Grant is clearly the Valeyard, which I'm like, they're never going to actually
That's what I saw
explain
on, like, really one of the first things I saw on Tumblr was literally that. It's like calling it right now.
And I mean, you can fanwank it. They're probably never going to actually address it. I know Russell T Davies always said, he's like, yeah, I don't care about that.
I mean, I wouldn't put it, Moffat really does like tying in things from Classic Who, so I wouldn't put it past him to want to do that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the problem is when you're tying in all this stuff from past series and shows, and you can't even manage
I mean, it's just
to wrap up your own.
Yeah.
What?
And it's like,
Lord.
the Doctor clearly knows what's best. The
Doctor knows what's best. Do what the Doctor says. This.
So we get this bit where they're like, you have to open this door with your name, Doctor. And they're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? I'm not gonna say my name. I'm not gonna try to help out my friends. It's
And
not like
it was a
that big
classic
deal.
Moffat, just kind of skate past the issue.
And then River just sort of is like, hey guys, I said it, I was over there. You couldn't actually hear me.
But, oh thank God the TARDIS could hear me. I mean, it worked. It got the plot moving forward. But that was the name of the episode.
Couldn't the Doctor have just been like, and like, like if it's that easy to do it, could have just been like, hold on guys.
Just sneeze.
And also, I kept joking during the episode, every time they're about to reveal his name, I was like, his name is Stephen Moffat.
Stephen Moffat, mad with power. I still love that theory on Tumblr. It's like mad with power. The Doctor's name is actually Stephen Moffat. Just no. I don't even. Let's see. The stars are going out again. I enjoyed that, but I mean, it was just the whole like. I thought it was really interesting seeing the whole like Doctor being erased from time and space and the changing relationship between Vastra, Strax, and Jenny. With Jenny actually disappearing and Strax hating Vastra. Mm-hmm. That was cool.
But we
little
kind of
things.
This has been done better before with Donna. Yes.
Oh right, there was an entire episode that was so good, and like I want to rewatch.
Oh man,
and
that
the
was
companion wasn't just simply turned into a plot device.
And it was really like Donna who was important and not the Doctor.
That's the problem. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we will. Oh, we will.
So many things to talk about later.
So Richard E. Grant's like, I'm evil, I guess, and I'm gonna go into the Doctor's life, and they show all
scar
these
tissue, which was an interesting theory.
And we're gonna show all these clips. Which, like, I love that they show clips, but, like, at this point, like, it's not special anymore. It's, like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, the
especially
best...
because they did it so many times within the one episode. Like, seriously, how many times are we going to show that clip of Clara falling, Clara in all the places? Like, it was really cool. But after a while, it's like, okay, now we're back to where we were at the beginning of the episode.
And so he's like, I'm going to splinter myself, and I'm going to, like, kill the Doctor, you know? Which, like, is fine. But then, like... Clara's just like, all right, I'm gonna go save the Doctor. It's what I've destined to do.
I wrote some phrases that she did. I have to. I've already done it. This is not a character who has a choice, who feels that she has a choice, and I'm just so angry.
There's a lot of people who will say, oh, but she actually is a strong character because she went to save the Doctor.
But that's not. She doesn't have any personality. She doesn't have any. What is her motivation for saving the Doctor? Her motivation for saving the Doctor is because he's told her that she saved him. That's not motivation. And
then the problem is that, skipping ahead a little bit, is that yes, she like saves the Doctor, but then he has to save her.
Yup.
And then also, okay, so this is where I take a little bit. Okay, there's one really funny part where she's about to like jump into like the time stream, and River's like, "No, don't go. No, don't go. I don't have emotion right now."
I mean, River is the character that really can relate most to Clara because the same thing happened to her. She died to save the Doctor.
Remember, River is the Doctor's ex.
Oh yeah, that was a fun part of the episode, and I know he kind of like redeemed himself later because I was like, oh yeah, she was my wife, and I guess he's kind of all in the whole timeline mourning her. She's dead, but I might see her again. Like it's so poorly written.
So in the time streams wherever that Clara goes in and she's like, oh no, and like okay, so she's the one that helps the Doctor pick the correct TARDIS, even though they wouldn't know what to call that, but whatever. But like. I don't see that that's true, because the Doctor has talked about this before, and he's like, yeah, I just went and stole this one over here.
I mean, it could have theoretically happened. It was a neat idea, but it's like, a neat idea wasn't enough to redeem this episode.
And is that, like, really, like,
that was the thing. It wasn't relevant to the plot.
No.
Moffat, what?
Remember in The Doctor's Wife, where the TARDIS was like, I chose you. Remember that? And now... That's not true because Stephen Moffat's like, fuck you, Neil Gaiman. My way is better.
Unless they had the TARDIS and Clara being more intrinsically linked.
But that's just...
Question
I'm
mark? We're just...
I mean...
How much do we have to stretch to make this work, Moffat? We're trying!
Oh, I'm not okay right now.
We had some minor plot holes. The leaf from Clara's childhood that was given up in the Rings of Akaten He's like, hold on to the leaf. You be the leaf.
Be the leaf.
Yeah, you are the leaf.
Core reference.
Hey, a good show. I'm
crazy. I did like to see that, like, apparently that's what, like, an original TARDIS looks like, which is just, like...
Yeah, the little...
Yeah, that's cool. That's
cool.
fine. That's
I
cool
was
to
like,
see.
But that was the thing. There were these brief highlights where I was like, that was cool. But most of the time, they were A, not relevant to the plot, B, plot holes, or C, just there. I mean,
so, like, River is like, no, Doctor, don't do this, don't do that. And he's like, no, what was the line? She said, you can't see me, or whatever. It's like, yeah, because the whole time, like, the Doctor can't see her, right?
That was the whole premise of it, because she's just that projection from the library.
And then the Doctor's like, oh.
But I can see you, and now I will make out with you.
No, but the reason he gave was like, oh, it was just too painful.
It was too painful for him to acknowledge it, which, I mean, is it's fitting with the Doctor's character. I think he doesn't like goodbyes. At least that's something that has been written into the 11th Doctor's character a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the Doctor's never liked goodbyes, but he's still
given goodbyes. Actually, he's given goodbyes quite often.
I was thinking of Ten's farewell tour, actually.
Let's actually.
It wasn't really goodbyes. It was more like a last, but it was a goodbye in his head.
Let's see. When he left Susan as the first Doctor, he said goodbye with a really cool speech. I guess he didn't say goodbye to Jamie and Zoe, although he kind of did. He didn't really say goodbye to that one lady as the third Doctor. I can't remember her name for the life of me. He definitely said goodbye to Sarah Jane, even though he left her in the wrong place.
Aww.
He said goodbye to a bunch of the Fifth Doctor's companions. The Sixth Doctor didn't really... Well, yeah, he sort of said bye to Perry, even though she kind of died, but actually she really didn't. He said bye to Mel. Fuck you, Mel. We didn't really see what happened to Ace, but I can assume they said goodbye to each other. He sort of said goodbye to Grace by making out with her as the Eighth Doctor. Rose was like...
He tried.
He tried real hard. There was just a
Tries.
space wall in the middle, a time wall in the middle. He tried to say... Well, he said goodbye to Amy and Rory.
There's Martha and Donna.
Well, Martha was like, fuck you, bye.
God bless Martha. Martha Jones, you are a star.
And Donna, Donna, no. But, like, he tried. You tried.
Well, that was different. Like, that was actually relevant.
So, actually, he knows how to say goodbye quite frequently.
Yeah, I mean, Amy and Rory... I mean, it's something definitely with the 11th Doctor's character. He doesn't like saying goodbye.
I guess that's...
That fits. But it's just... Really... It's just, like, you're not going to talk to her. You're not going to, like... She's just a plot device. She's just somebody to make out with.
It's like, I'm not going to see you until I feel like I want to make out with you.
And it must look so funny to everybody else. I would have liked to see that. It would have been like freaking Battlestar Galactica.
It would have been a nice...
with all the scenes with Gaius and like Head 6 where there was exactly the same thing.
It could have provided a little bit of levity.
Yeah, it would have been like... It's just they tried to add those kind of moments of humor to moments that were such poor plot holes things.
And then Jenny says, I was born to save the Doctor because that's all your life is about, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he's like, so then like they're in that part where like all like the doctors and they don't show their heads because obviously we can't show the actors, blah, blah, blah. And they all run around past the coats and we see Christopher Eccleston's coat. And I can't remember if we saw David Tennant. I don't think we saw Paul McGann. Fuck you! I really like Paul McGann, okay?
I can't tell Shamus. I really like him too. I haven't really seen him, but he seems cool. He seems like
a groovy guy.
Yeah.
So and then he's like, my impossible girl.
Let me save you because you've saved me. Continue.
Let me save.
At this point, I'm getting tired from being angry.
I'm just tired. And then
tired.
The crowning moment of this episode. The crowning moment. Okay, so I want to take you back.
To the moment when this happened.
So like there's this person.
It was beautiful.
So there's this person standing there, and I'm like, is that David Tennant? Is that
we're going back and forth about it. Like you're saying it's a David Tennant. I'm thinking maybe it's Eccleston. I'm thinking maybe it's like.
And then and then I was like, okay, it's probably like John Hurt, whatever.
Probably.
And you know, there was someone who we had talked about last week who sent us like a message that was like, oh, this was like a thing from the Sun, where it's like, is this the Doctor? And we're like,
no way. We have some faith in Moffat. You were right.
You were right, sir. Wrong. All the points to you. Sir or madam.
Sir or madam, yeah.
Yes, or other. And it's literally, this is exactly what happens. So, like, Bro is just, as we made fun of at the start of this episode, Bro literally, like, I guess the Doctor walked away. I'm not really sure what happened.
I don't really know what happened either. It was just that over-dramatic turn.
He turns around, and then I'm like, okay, that's him. And that would have been like, okay, whatever, I get it.
No, and that would have actually been a really good way to end it, or like they did in the end of Time, when they have in the credits and introducing Matt Smith as the Doctor.
But then the problem is he turns and then it's like
Wallow text.
And then like big music thing. Doom. Introducing John Hurt as the Doctor. And
we myself, Shamus, and my friend Becca, literally just all burst out laughing for like a good 2 minutes.
It was literally like it's supposed to be dramatic, but it was so funny.
So funny.
It was just
oh my god.
Like
I just tried to write ah ha 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 and I couldn't even. I was so incoherent.
I just like I'm forced to assume that text actually was there. Like wherever that is, like their names just appear.
Just in the Doctor's timeline somewhere is floating the text and introducing John Hurt as the Doctor.
John Hurt is the Doctor. Like it's I mean this episode and that in and of itself, it's like I get it. Like
but the thing is they advertise this as a cliffhanger.
The problem is with this. Like let's take away that text and pretend you had never seen.
That would be a cliffhanger.
No. I want you to picture this.
Okay,
This is me. Sorry.
Efficienate.
A picture you don't know who John Hurt is. You don't know who like this guy is. It could literally be bro turns around and that's the end and you're like who the F is that?
That would have been so much better.
Now maybe if they had like shown like oh he's wearing like the Doctor's.
And then we would have I'm sure we would have figured it out from clues outside, but it's just. Did you really need to make it that obvious?
It's like, were you aware?
You're trying to get us hyped up for the 50th. They were trying to get us so hyped up for this episode. Good lord. So hype. And they were so upset when this DVD's leaked. Hilarious. Or the Blu-rays, whatever it was.
Guys. Don't spoil it.
I'm going to release this clip with Matt Smith and David Tennant that won't actually do anything. But hey, at least David Tennant's in it.
We'll talk about that in a second.
But yeah, it's just like they tried to get us so hyped up for this. But honestly... What happened? We learned that John Hurt is the Doctor. We learned he closed the whole plot hole with Clara, which is cool. But where is Clara's character going to go from now? Her whole character is built upon this fact that she's his impossible girl.
Maybe she'll get to do something now.
That's what I'm hoping. That is what I have high hopes for. That now that they've closed this kind of plot, that they'll be able to move on with her as a character, which shouldn't have had to happen, but maybe in Moffat land it does.
Apparently. Jenna Louise Coleman and Matt Smith have signed on for Series 8. I don't know how true that is. So, we'll see.
I want him to regenerate.
I want the showrunner to regenerate and to not Stephen Moffat.
Thank you. I mean, Matt Smith has been so good this series, but the writing has been so bad. I'm so sorry, Matt. He's gotten so much better. Like, he's really grown into his character.
And he's gotten bags under his eyes.
Oh, poor Matt Smith.
He's looking as tired as David Tennant did.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing. It happens when you're a national icon.
Definitely.
But once again, I just can't get over how the end of the episode, without that text, it's just some bro turning to the screen, and he could have at least been like,
setup, no.
He could have been like something mysterious that leads into the 50th anniversary.
Throw a nice cryptic rhyme in there, like this entire episode with whatever the heck those monsters were.
It's like
I forgot the Slender Man thing.
The end of the episode is a guy turning to the screen. That's the end of the episode. A guy we don't know.
This is the cliffhanger before the 50th, though. This is the cliffhanger before the 50th.
Like, the cliffhanger is literally John Hurt is going to be in the 50th anniversary. Like, John Hurt is a great guy.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, John Hurt has been in some things. That's cool. But he's also just a guy. It's not... It wouldn't even matter if it was, the most fucking, popular person on the fucking planet. It could have been fucking, Obama is going to be in the 50th anniversary. Who gives a shit? I don't care. It could have been, the fucking Queen is going to be in the 50th anniversary. Wow. It could have been anybody, and I would have been like, who cares? Who cares? Now, if it had been, say, David Tennant who turned around, that would have been like, oh, shit.
That would have been a good setup.
It would have been like...
I mean, that's what I was hoping. I was trying to figure out in this episode with the whole Clara dipping into the time stream and time being rewritten. I was like, oh, maybe that's how they're going to introduce, Rose and 10. And it still might be, which would be really cool. But it's that plot device, was actually one of the better things that Moffat has done. But
it worked.
It worked. It actually, for once, worked in his defense. But it just wasn't a good episode.
I mean, I will say, the pacing wasn't bad.
The pacing was not bad, especially compared to the rest of it. The rest of the series, it's the pacing was pretty on point.
Yeah, so I guess, should we, grade this episode?
How can you compare this thing.
Oh, out of moments in this episode.
That's the problem. It's like it had moments in it that were good. Well, I mean, I say good. They were like, oh, okay. But it was just overwhelmingly just, again, we were bursting out laughing at the end of it. Is that how you want to end your Doctor Who experience? I mean, it may have just been us because we're just so with Doctor Who.
I'm going to give this a pretty solid my Clara out of John Hurt as the Doctor.
Yes.
So that's a pretty
Perfect.
solid...
I don't know. I'm feeling, do we want my Clara? Oh, but Souffle Girl. I think I have to give it a Souffle Girl out of John Hurt as the Doctor.
So in like, okay, but in like a number scale, what would that be?
I don't know. It's not...
I kind of want to give it like a 1 out of 5. I didn't really like it that much.
I mean, two and a half. It had... No, what was the plot? That's the thing I keep coming back to. I have to look at it as an episode. And there was...
It's like...
It wasn't... I don't want to give it a 1. What if we give them the other ones? They were like... Were the other episodes really that much better?
They didn't make me as enraged as this one.
I mean, but...
Which I guess
for me,
making
that's almost
me,
a plus. Because then you
making me
actually
feel
feel
things.
something. Yeah.
I guess that's something. It certainly didn't bore me. I guess that's
Yeah, I
something.
wasn't
Maybe I'll
bored.
give it a 2. Give it a 2.
2.5.
2.5?
Yeah, 2.5.
So it failed. Is what you're saying.
That was never a doubt, Shamus.
It got a big solid E and or F. Depending on how you grade.
I mean...
Try again next semester.
Try again next season.
Or would it be an incomplete? Because they didn't actually, like...
I mean, I think I had said this earlier, that this is basically just a lead-in to the 50th anniversary.
That's the thing. But the problem is, this whole season was a lead-in to this, which is just a lead-in to the 50th.
Pretty
How
much.
how much weight can you put on one episode?
It just feels like everything was either like placeholders, which is fine, you can do standalones, or they're
Yeah.
just furthering, who is this? Who is Clara?
But there's
Who
no,
is
like,
Doctor Who?
motivation to care
It's
about
like,
it.
it's literally like someone wrote down, okay, this is the mystery. You gotta put it in the episode, and we gotta do this because it has to lead into this last episode. It's like, that's fine.
That works, but
It's just like,
it wasn't well done. I mean, as I said, we were asked by a lot of people to kind of talk about what our top 5 episodes of the series were, which would be impossible because I don't think they were like...
now when they say top 5 episodes, I'm not sure if they meant like of Series 7 Part 2 or like Series
Doctor
7 overall.
Or even like Doctor Who.
Well, we had talked about
We
that,
talked
didn't we,
about
in the introduction.
In the introduction, we did talk about some of the stuff, which is kind of cool to look back on. But yeah, in Series 7...
Best episode is Neil Gaiman's episode. Just saying.
Yes, definitely. Neil Gaiman's my favorite. I mean, yeah. You look back where we've come so far. First of all, I mean, in Moffat's defense, I don't really like the division of the series into 2 sections. I think it does slow it down and make it more difficult for you to be driven to watch it.
I don't think that's his fault, and I don't
It's
think...
not his fault at all. So it's like, I understand that. And I'm trying to look back, where we come from. We came from Asylum of the Daleks, where we were introduced to Oswin Oswald, Souffle Girl. And that was a thing. And it was like, oh, I'm kind of intrigued by this character. And then now, here we are at the end. It's all been resolved. Do you really care about this character? You know literally just about as much about her as you did before.
Like, and we saw her again in the Christmas special, where she, like, checked out the Doctor's ass. Like,
but even then, we were told that this wasn't her. These were echoes of Clara. So if you thought that Clara was kind of shallow at this point, they're literally just like shimmers.
Shimmers. It's
shadows.
like,
She doesn't. It's not her fault. She doesn't have a character. It's literally been written into the script that she's not supposed to have
and
personality.
also, I thought, like, Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, like, the Doctor didn't remember any of that either, but, like, maybe he actually did.
I mean, it was like a kind of Donna thing.
It's like, you're not supposed to remember this, but maybe he's like, I don't know it either, but, like, it's like also, like, I'm gonna erase your memory because you shouldn't know about this, and it's like, come on, man, like, is it really that big a deal? Is it, like, if your name blows things up, like, I understand, but, like, come on, dude. It's not, if you told River Song, it's not that big a deal.
That's the thing. It's like we're made out to be such a big deal for River to know these things. Why was River in this episode? She wasn't a character. She was a plot
Because
device.
Stephen Moffat loves River Song.
I'm just so annoyed. River, like, I really wanted her to be a great character. It's like mirroring Clara, and it's like don't be like River Song, Clara. Be your own character. Have some motivation outside the Doctor. But we're not getting that.
It's literally like it's all like revolved around the Doctor. It's like we talked about this before. Like at least the other characters like did things
For themselves.
and they had like a life. And like, yeah, I understand that a crazy spaceman shows up and is like, "You want to travel the universe?" And it's like, "Yeah, cool, man, awesome."
But we have to talk about what's going on in the series right now and not what Russell T Davies did, because that can't be changed. And this has the potential to be so much better.
Yes.
Like, I love Doctor Who. That's why I get so angry. That's why I'm like bursting and laughing at the end, because it's ridiculous. Because I'm invested in this show, and it makes me sad when I see it's not living up to what it could be. Like,
it really could have been something more.
Like this whole episode.
And it wasn't.
It was just a mess.
And it's like, I really care about Doctor Who. Doctor Who has been very good in my life.
Doctor Who's like changed me. Like, it's influenced me so positively, and I love it. But the series has really tested that love.
Mm-hmm. Like, totally like personal thing here. Like the reason why, like, one of the first things that I ever talked to Abby about was Doctor Who. Okay, like this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I mean,
so like. Doctor Who's done a lot of good things. It just sucks that it sucks right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll get better, and I'm sure it'll get worse. I mean, that's the thing about Doctor Who. But it's just like, you were building up to this episode so much. Really. And then it's just a build up to the
it was a cop-out. I mean, it was like
exactly,
literally...
that's the thing with Moffat. It's always a cop-out.
I mean, like, look, I'm glad they didn't reveal his name.
Me too. I mean, we knew it wasn't going to happen anyway, but I'm really glad they did.
But it's the problem is that, like, now I'm sure there are people online who are like, well, hold on, I wanted to know his name. Where is it? So you're going to piss all those people off. Which is like, of course you weren't going to find it out, but it's like, don't promise something that you're not going to deliver on.
You never promised it.
I never promised it. I just called it the name of the fucking episode.
Because it's catchy, and it's grabbing, and it gets people to watch.
Remember,
and hey, that works.
His actual thing from a quote in an interview was, I try to create the sluttiest titles as I can.
It works. And I mean, like, that's his thing. Like, I didn't really care. I wasn't really expecting the name of the Doctor coming into this, but I was expecting a nice plot that just... This was just so convoluted and all over the place. It really didn't... I mean, I will give it to him. He really did, finish up the thing with Clara. I'm really proud of that. Like, wow.
I hope it's finished and now they do something else.
Well, that's the thing. I hope it's finished. Because, I mean, like, he's been really, really bad in the past about finishing plotlines. There's still, like, holes in the past that we're not going to get answers to. So it's like, I'm really happy about that. But I say happy, but I didn't enjoy it. It was just like... Oh, look, it's Clara doing a bad wolf-esque thing, except without...
But nowhere near as cool.
Yeah. And I mean, it was cool. And I mean, you don't want to compare everything to what Russell T Davies does, because you're not gonna... That's not good. They're separate writers.
And all of them have problems.
Yes, Russell T Davies is far from perfect. But I'm just like, why? I just want a well-written female character who just... I know she's gonna be like, well, she's gonna love the Doctor in one way or another, and that her life is gonna be revolved around his in one way or another, but that's not all that there has to be.
So what you need to do is go watch the 7th Doctor and go watch anything with Ace in it, because it's really great, and Ace blows up Daleks with a rocket launcher, and it also hits the Daleks with a baseball bat, a space baseball bat.
Yeah.
Like that's the great thing about Doctor Who is that if you don't like it.
There's always something.
There's something to like.
Yeah, I know a lot of Doctor Who blogs that I'm really into on Tumblr that are really nice, really into the audios with 8 especially.
Yes, there's a lot of alternative media.
I may have to look into some of that because it's like it's hard now.
Paul McGann.
I need to watch the movie. I'm really excited. I want to watch it.
It's a honestly, this episode could have been something. This is the thing. My expectations for this episode were down here. We're like so low.
Below where the camera is.
So like, I wasn't surprised, but I also just look at it. It's sort of like being like a teacher in a class, and you get an assignment where like someone's like, "Look at this, I tried," and it's like, you did.
But did you?
But it's like, you could try so much more if you just applied yourself.
Yes.
You could be getting A's instead of C's.
It's no words.
No words.
There are no words anymore.
So on something that actually makes us happy, there was this wonderful clip of David Tennant and Matt Smith, which they did release like they said they would.
Yeah, because apparently not that many spoilers were out. I only saw like one GIF set on Tumblr. I think it was just the Doctor crying, and It wasn't really a spoiler.
I mean, there were spoilers everywhere. I mean, if you wanted to look for them,
oh
they were
yeah,
there.
I was.
I'm sure that shit was all over the torrents and everything.
Oh, probably. But I mean, it wasn't really on social media and such.
But they released this clip.
Yes.
And we're gonna show you right now what Abby's reaction of it was.
Oh no, you're not actually showing that whole thing,
yes,
are you?
I am.
No.
I remember very vividly the day that Matt came on set for the first time. You gave me good advice. Did I? Advice that I'd pass on. Good. Not advice that I can repeat.
Good.
No. Yeah.
No, don't repeat
but
it.
what you did say was that I'd have the most fun ever. And you know what?
He looks so much older.
And it is quite unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
There aren't. It's a type of experience you can only really reference with people that are really either really close to you and sort of had a hand on it, or have done it.
God, his tie has flowers on it.
Particular place in people's affections. So when you're
Sideburns.
the face of it, it's an unusual set of pressures that brings. Yeah. 89% of which are wonderful, lovely, positive things. 89. That's a very specific amount. Yeah. I think it's quite interesting actually with filming the 50th.
They're just talking.
That our doctors seem to get on quite well. I think they do. Yeah, and they bicker a bit. Yeah, but it's quite. But I think they quite enjoy each other's very presence. Yeah. And then there's another character in there who we can't really talk about. Yes.
Of course.
Is just amused. Are you talking
In the fiction of the show or on set? Between takes. Yeah.
Stop having fun. I'm suffering right now. Oh, that was it? What the heck? That was it. They just was like, don't tell any spoilers, and we'll keep it. They're trying to make me feel happy after that terrible episode. They tried. Look how cute David Tennant is. And Matt Smith. They're both adorable.
And we're back. So that clip, I mean, once again, didn't really show us anything.
That's exactly.
They didn't, of course, they weren't going to show us anything. But it was nice to see David Tennant chilling out with Matt Smith.
It was really cute. And
And he's talking in his accent.
yeah, Scottish accent, really cool. I'm just like, hey, I miss you. Please come back. Oh wait, you are gonna come back. Oh wait, you're in by Moffat. Oh wait, it's okay. Oh.
It's like, and sad.
And sad. They tried to make me feel better after that episode, and I mean, nothing could make that better. I'm probably gonna get food. That food will probably make this better.
Food will make this not hurt inside. I will stop hurting.
That and hopefully I'm gonna go see Star Trek tonight. That'll be good.
Maybe that will make you feel better about
Maybe.
yourself.
Or watch Les Mis.
Or something.
Yeah.
Just bring some sort of form of joy.
Happiness.
Some joy and
But
happiness.
I mean, but these reviews have been lovely.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's been great doing
I'm
them.
glad. It's always good to be able to talk about it. Otherwise, you just sort of sit there and you're just like...
Especially because on Tumblr, I tend to just kind of go on there and be like, agreed. It's nice to just kind of broadcast what you feel.
Put it out there.
Yeah. It's
Now, I know some people will be like, are you going to come back and do the 50th anniversary for these reviews? Are you going to do the next season? We don't know.
I mean, I'd like to. I'm a lowly freshman, technically sophomore
And I'm
credits.
graduating college, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to be here, which makes filming these very difficult.
Yes.
So maybe they'll come back with Abby and someone else.
Or just me. We don't really know yet.
It could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. But I definitely want to continue these. And Shamus and I are going to keep talking about them for sure because
So
it's
they
fun.
will. This will continue in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and it's always fun to hear what you guys think. Like, I always love reading the comments and
Yeah.
being like, oh, I really didn't like this episode, but this person did. And I always like that kind of discourse.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really great.
Indeed.
And I wonder if people laughed / were as angry as we were with this episode.
I really hope that someone.
I really hope that somebody felt that passion.
I hope someone watches this and says thank you.
Yes, that's
And I don't mean thank you as in like, oh, good job, guys. It's like, no, you guys understand.
That's what I love doing about these. Like, I love being able to see that, we're not the only ones seeing these things, and that we also want Doctor Who to be better. Like, that's cool. And that's also cool if you liked it. And
Yes. But let us know why you liked it.
let us know why. Or
If you disagree with us, let us know.
And
Keep it civil.
yes, and thank you so much for all of your support. This has been amazing. Like,
Exactly.
So much fun.
It's been good to watch something with someone, not like when I watch Glee by myself and I just want to cry inside. And I mean I want to cry inside watching
This is a different.
but at least we're sharing the experience.
It is fun.
Oh man.
Oh
but
gosh, and next time it'll be the 50th.
that's gonna be crazy, yo. David Tennant and
Dude.
Billie Piper.
I'm just probably gonna cry. I'm probably gonna cosplay. I think I'm gonna cosplay.
And you're just gonna watch that episode and you're just gonna cry. And you're
I'm just
be
gonna
like,
sit there. I'm gonna cry. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch the episode. And then I'm gonna go back and just watch the scenes with them, muted, without the terrible dialogue that will inevitably be written. And just be like, they're on screen together. I'm happy. Let's
just
not
wait
think
for
about...
the inevitable amount of photoshops and GIFs
Oh,
and GIFs
Lord.
or whatever of them.
They're gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be great.
But I believe this review's time is done.
Yes, it is. We've gone on for a very long time.
Quite a long time.
But I mean, there was a... Who did not expect? We knew we were gonna
Yeah.
talk a long time. I mean, it was the finale.
Yeah, pretty much. It was the finale.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
All right. But until this comes back,
Yes.
I will say goodbye.
Oh no, I'm getting sad.
But
Shamus has no problem saying goodbye, unlike the 11th Doctor.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with it. So I'm gonna go. I'll regenerate into if anyone else talks to you about this.
Yeah.
So it'll be great.
Yes.
And keep watching this. And as always, you can follow me on the Tumblr at thewriterjetfire.tumblr.com. I talk about it at the end of the last Glee review.
Oh,
So you can find me on the internet. You don't have to give your Tumblr. It's fine.
Nobody would care. It's just lameness. And it's also a really long French name that's hard to pronounce.
Okay. So seriously, guys, once again, thank you so much.
Yes.
Comment, please. It'd be awesome.
Always love talking. Like, I always love seeing all the discussion going on and interact and kind of like think, thank you for making me think. That's what I love about that. So yeah.
All right.
Being awesome.
But until we meet again,
Until next time.
allons-y.
Allons-y.